One of the things you can do when you're feeling helpless is to become helpful.
Ooh, I love that.
I love it. Welcome back to Greg's Notes, everyone. In all seriousness, Greg and I have actually been talking for a while about how much we love where we live here in Lake Norman.
Absolutely.
And we have been wanting to make a segment called Love Where You Live, Lake Norman, featuring a lot of just great, positive people and places around our area and what makes Lake Norman such an amazing place to live.
I love the name. Love Where You Live, Lake Norman is much catchier than Greg's Notes, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I do really like Greg's Notes, and y'all would be impressed if you saw the plethora of Greg's Notes that he's got going on over the past couple of years. I have a feeling, and I think I'm right, because I knew Greg when he was in college. He's a much better student now than he was back then.
Yes, definitely.
So we can share Greg's Notes with you whenever you need. But I do love Where You Live, Lake Norman. We talk about all the time how much we love living here because really of the people that are here. We live in such a highly concentrated area of just really good people. People who are positive and uplifting and, ready to serve at a moment's notice. Yeah, it's really inspiring.
It reminds me of when my family moved when I was in 8th grade. My dad... I was really torn up about it because I had great friends where I lived.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to move, but he said a place is where you make what you make of it.
Oh yeah.
And that advice was so great. I moved on to another city, kept both friends. I made lots of great new friends, had old friends. But it comes down to the people, right? Mm-hmm. Place is what you make of it, and just having those relationships here in this community is just so key.
It is. It's always been one of the best things about having this business is, we don't have a business where it's a real quick transaction here. We usually spend quite a bit of time with people, getting to know them, and the relationships that we've made over the years they mean more to us than anything else. Most of our good friends we've met because they came in to buy a bed or a futon or whatever.
Yeah, we're known as clingers, right?
Yeah.
Like some of our best friends.
We just hang on to them. But I did have a longtime friend and customer of ours come through the store 2 days ago, and we sat 6 feet apart on the couch on the sectional and had a nice conversation. And he was just really coming in because he watched our video from last week and was moved to just be a blessing to somebody. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there right now who are moved to do the same and not sure how to get it done in the same time, mm-hmm. right? So I was listening to a podcast the other day, my guy, Ed Milet, and one of my favorite thoughts from this podcast was, one of the things you can do when you're feeling helpless is to become helpful.
Ooh, I love that.
I love it. I was just like, I rewound it like several times. Because it's really a mind shift. It's going to take your mind off that feeling of helplessness onto how can I help somebody else and give you some promise and purpose. So we wanted to talk about becoming a blessing to other people today, how you can become helpful, and I wanted to have Greg share some of his Greg notes about our favorite book, The Sender by Dr. Kevin Elko. Now, I know that when you were in college, you remember Cliff's Notes or high school? Those, typically you read Cliff's Notes because it was a book you didn't want to read and you needed to read the Cliff's Notes so you can get your paper done or test or whatever. But Greg's Notes are different. These are actually books that you will want to read. And we'll give you some good snippets here. But this is a life changer book.
A life changer.
A life changer.
It's a book that you have to read it. and you're going to want to buy it for all your friends and family
Yeah.
and send it to them when they need it the most. And the slogan here is a story about when right words make all the difference.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I was telling Katy, I was in a men's Bible study that met at the YMCA every Thursday morning for years. And I got so much out of that. And we were studying the book of James one time.
Great book.
And this gentleman spoke up and he said, James was talking about how faith without works is dead. Mm-hmm. So it's a sin of omission. So if you feel like you should do something, if you know you should speak up, if you feel compelled, it is God's will. You have to speak up, because you never know when that's going to uplift somebody or catch somebody at the right time. And that's what I love about how our friend stopped by to see you. Like, he felt compelled to come by. Some of the things that we share on social media, I'll hear back from friends that I haven't seen or talked to in years. Yeah. And it just feels great to see that. Like, I heard a comment or saw a comment, I needed this morning. Yep. So, man, we want to just share that and spread that and like have everybody be thinking that. So the spoken words, I think we need to be aware of, really making sure we speak up when we're supposed to. Yeah. And another, I saw an interview with this guy, Trevor Mawad. He's the author of It Takes What It Takes. And he works with top performance teams like University of Alabama, University of Georgia, professional athletes, very similar to Dr. Kevin Elko too. Yeah. In his interview, he says, if somebody says something out loud, it's 10 times more powerful than if you just think it. And then as we started to study the data, particularly the data that was just reinforced by Georgetown and Harvard, that negativity is a multiple of 4 to 7 times more than positivity. Wow. So think about that. If I say something out loud, it's 10 times more likely to become true than if I didn't say anything at all. Okay. And if it's negative, it's 4 to 7 times more powerful than that. So that if you say stupid negative things out loud, it's 40 to 70% more likely that you could be predicting and perpetuating exactly what you don't want to have happen.
No, 40 to 70 more times likely.
Than if you said nothing at all.
Than if you said nothing at all. And he gives some fascinating examples of this in this interview. I mean, holy cow. It really makes you want to keep all of those stupid thoughts in your head and not want to say them out loud.
Right, but then choose, like you said, to go be helpful.
To go focus on the positive. Yeah. When those positive thoughts come in, when you think about somebody, send them a quick text, quick phone call, FaceTime or something. When you feel compelled to say something positive, say it. Yeah. Because what you never know when that right word can make all the difference.
Right. It's like you have that thought, that gift at that moment. You have to do something with it. Yeah. And I love the fact that we have this opportunity where we can just sit here and share our thoughts, and if anybody wants to listen, hopefully it catches you at the right moment, and hopefully you can in turn uplift somebody else too. So yeah, I love that opportunity.
Me too. Another thing that Ed Milet was talking about the other day was when he's talking about being helpful. There's a lot of ways to be helpful to other people too. I mean, sometimes it could be just relationally, physically, spiritually, mentally, but relationally, especially right now, is so important. And just thinking about the people who are really going above and beyond, like trying to reach out. And all those people that you hadn't heard from in years, It's sad that it takes something like this to hear from some people sometimes, but, who are you going to remember that's reaching out to you? Aren't you going to remember that person that you hadn't heard from in a long time, just checking in on you to see, like, hey, how you doing? Right. Hope you're doing well through all this. I know I'm going to remember those people. Right. So I want to be that person to somebody else.
That person comes into your mind. Mm-hmm. Don't bury that. Pick up the phone, call them, write them a card, like, do something for them. Don't let that moment pass you by, because there may be a reason that you could be right there in the right place at the right time to help that person. Yep. The book, The Cinder, too, I want to give you just like a little bit of an overview. It's a fictional book that's based off of the life of, or the character, Chuck Pagano. He was an NFL coach for the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
Got diagnosed with cancer in the middle of his season. Kevin Elko, Dr. Kevin Elko, is actually in real life best friends with him. Mm-hmm. And he chose to write letters to Chuck Pagano while he was battling cancer every day. So Kevin Elko has a gift with words. He's got stories and the right words at the right time, and it just tracked the fictional character of Chuck Pagano, which was a high school football coach in the book The Cinder, through his battle with cancer. And when he first started battling cancer, he was bitter. He was
very bitter.
He was like, why me? Why? Just in a very dark place. And that's one of the, we're talking about the power of words, and Kevin Elko talks about the power of self-talk. So when you say things out loud and you want to be saying the right things to yourself, the right things to your friends and family, I love be better, not bitter.
Yeah.
That was one of the messages the Cinder sent the coach, was choose to be better, not bitter.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that we're talking about here. Other things are keep chopping. You don't walk up to a tree with an axe, swing it once and expect the tree to fall. You got to keep chopping, and eventually it's going to fall.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Seminole chop there for a second.
Oh,
no, we're talking about tree chopping.
We're talking about that kind of chopping. Yeah, keep chopping.
Got to throw that one in there.
Yeah.
Good old Seminoles.
Go Noles. And I'm strong. We said this around Sweet Dreams the last couple of weeks. I'm strong if you're strong. Are you strong?
I'm strong.
Yep. So the coach meets a boy that's battling cancer at the same time, Max. And Max was a huge inspiration to the coach. And Max taught him that self-talk, like, hey, I'm strong if you're strong. And he would make him shout about, I'm strong. So you gotta pump each other up. You may not be feeling extremely positive in a moment, but the right words at the right time can get you that way.
Yep.
And one more, there are no born winners or losers. There are born choosers. So think about that. All the winners that you could think of that are professional heroes or the top of their sport or business or high achievers, it's not because they were born that way. It's because they chose to make those sacrifices, and they chose to put the work in, and they chose to get their mindset right. Kevin Elko talks about our attitudes and our minds are muscles.
Yeah.
They'll atrophy if we don't exercise them in positivity and doing and pushing ourselves towards a greater goal.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to share that with you guys, and hopefully some of these words might catch you at the right time. Message me. I'd be happy to send you the book, The Cinder. If you want to sign up for the weekly emails from Kevin Elko, Monday Morning Cup of Inspiration by Kevin Elko.
Yeah.
I just love it. Just kind of gets you in the right mindset to start your week. Be happy to forward you that. That's a free email. We want to hear from you. Stay connected and stay positive and love where you live, Lake Norman.
I'm strong if you're strong, Lake Norman. Are you strong?
I'm strong.